Hello and good afternoon or evening or maybe even morning, wherever you may be around the world. My name is BAMISAYE Victor and I'm your host in this program called Dear DSA. And I would like to welcome you specially today. Here in Kyiv, Ukraine, it's evening, and so I can round everything up and say good evening, everybody. And I'm very, very happy to welcome you, as I've said earlier. And I would like you to also, make your presence known by commenting on the page and let me know that you are around so I can equally greet you. So, you know what the program is about. It's called Dear Dr. Sunday Adelaja. This is a program where we read some of the correspondence that has taken place between Dr. Sunday and many of his viewers or people who have crossed paths with him over the years or in the few weeks, days, months, or even decades ago, and they are writing to him about certain things and their impressions, probably of his message, probably of things he's done. We just read those letters and then we discuss them, and we're able to bring out a few lessons in them, and sometimes even go a further mile by expanding the content of the letter and being able to discuss them. And you know how it is. We also like to hear your view, especially every day, because we want to be able to get your feedback too. And so I'm using this opportunity to tell those of you who are watching that please be as engaging as possible. Let us hear what you think about what is going on. And of course, in the course of the conversation, we are going to open the line so that you can call in. And you know how to do that. You just write to Move Agent and we are going to give you a call. Please don't call, just write that you want to call and then we're going to call you back.
Through Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, through Facebook Messenger, Matic on Facebook Messenger. All right, so I'm going to introduce you to my guest. He's always my guest on the show, Dr. Sunday. You're welcome.
Bless you, sir.
Bless you too.
How are you doing today?
Very fine. You're looking so radiant.
Well, I hope so. I hope so. And I'm working on it.
I tried to look at it. Did you have a new haircut? But you haven't yet. So something is different.
I think it's a combination of too many things. The haircut also.
Oh, you had your haircut already?
Ooh, well.
Yeah?
Everything included.
Wow.
Yeah, all inclusive. All inclusive.
That's pleasant to learn. All right, so I would like you to greet the people, but just before you do that, I would just like to mention a few people who have joined us, so you can just give a welcome note to the people.
Yep.
So I can see Abiola Olojo, Miss Abiola Olojo, Topsy Gift. I can see Madubuko Kenechukwu, Michael Chimerism. It's asking if the page is truly act. Well, maybe we'll discuss that later. Is your Facebook page truly act DSA? Maybe
I don't think so, is it?
We'll discuss that much later. Adeoshun Opeyemi, you're welcome. Teresa F. Siba Johnson, you're welcome. Olufemi Gilead, you're welcome. Tracy Mefbore, Blessing Mbia, you're so much welcome. I can see Tuli Madzibuko and Feyikemi Ologunbimpe Akintola Laoluolaoye Isiwa Asemota, you're so much welcome. Sunday Akimboale is also watching. Yomi Jegede, Peace Bien Ejeku, you're welcome. Miles Ojabo, you're welcome. You're so much welcome. Prince Debola Shegun Gbadebo, you're so much welcome. I think I will let you address people now, then probably I'll come back to
just to say greetings to people?
Yeah, just to greet them and welcome them.
Well, I want to use this opportunity to welcome all of you and greet you. Welcome to Dear DSA. In this program, we just look into the letters that come into us, and we try to, read as much as we can, and that's for you.
Yes, sir.
We try to read a few letters and discuss. And since the young lion that I have with me is so fresh in thoughts and in inspiration, so it's always interesting to see him take one phrase or one word to another level and create an engaging conversation from every word and phrase and statements and sentences in each letter to be an inspiration to the listeners. By the way, I have to also call your attention to the fact that very soon we are going to be having changes on our YouTube page, which I don't know the changes yet, the details yet. I cannot tell you the details, but soon there are going to be some changes. So just for you to think about that. It's going to alter the way we've been doing stuff. I mean, we've been doing things. But today there is another news that I have, which is going to be very novel. Yes, it was another news that I have. Just no one. Another news that I have is that of the new book that I'm releasing this week. And this book, I think somebody that is more excited about this new book than myself will be Dr. BAMISAYE Victor, because he worked on editing this book and he translated it from Russian to English. No, was group stamp we got one Prislav. So Who Will Come to Your Funeral is the name of the book. Who Will Come to Your Funeral. And the book, you've been talking about it for like more than a year.
Yeah, more than a year.
More than a year now.
I think we finished it around maybe September or October last year. But of course, you know, your book goes through a lot of processes. Yeah.
Yes.
You know, at the end of the day, translating from one language to the other does not 100% always capture the.
Yeah, but the fact that you yourself got the message very well.
For me as a person,
I'm sure that helped you to also.
I got the message. Not only did I get it, even before you started talking about converting, that was the first push I had towards converting.
Tell the people.
Yeah, because when I read that book, of course, I would really love to sit down and do, even if it's chapter by chapter, the whole review. I would love to do that. But I can remember then, one of the things that I wanted to do, which we started and we have registered the BAMISAYE Victor Foundation already.
Yes.
One of the things I wanted to do then was to establish the foundation and start a few projects under it. And I was thinking, okay, maybe I will start that when I'm comfortable. I will start that when...
At 40.
Maybe not even at 40, when I'm rich, when I finish
when I
school,
can afford
when
it.
I can afford it. But when I read that book, I realized life is...
Mention the name of the book.
Yeah,
so that people
I'm going to do that. When I read the book, I realized life is fleeting. Why did I realize life is fleeting? Because of the main question the book was asking. And the question starts right from the title. Who will come to your funeral?
Yep.
When you read that, when you are asked that question, the first thing that may come to your mind is who are the people that will come in literal terms of how many people are going to attend? Your friends?
I know, yes.
That is very valid. But even more, the book goes to answer the question of what is the value of your life? Because it is the value of your life that will determine the caliber of people that will be at your funeral. And again, it's the book goes to talk about the quality of life in the terms of you yourself being pleased with the life you are living on earth. The book goes to talk about why some people dread death and why death is just an alarm for us to live the best life that we can live here on earth. And you also, in the book, you mentioned that the book was not just what you wrote for writing's sake. It's been something you've taught people over time. I mean, this were the Russians.
It's retreat, yeah.
Yeah. And you've taught them, asked them to write
obituary.
Their obituary. How can someone ask you to write your obituary?
And I took them on excursions as well.
Yeah.
I took them on excursion to burial ground.
Yeah, to burial ground. Wow.
So that
To
we
see.
spend 6 hours in the burial ground analyzing, not just to see, analyzing every tomb, analyzing the tombs and why what is written on this tomb is different from what is written on this tomb.
Yeah.
And what does it mean, the dash between the date of birth and the date of death? What does that dash mean? Why do they put the dash? And why this tomb is having just dates? Why the other tomb is having honor, like they are saying that epithet, and the other one is not having any. So we've spent 6 hours in the tomb, in the cemetery. It's just for people to get this book, the selection of this book.
You know, from was it the first or the second chapter where you mentioned, you told the story, or you used the story of a noble?
Yes. The Noble Nore.
The story. The gift of seeing his own obituary.
Yes, sir.
That now made him change his course.
It's the whole course of his life.
Revolutionized his whole life. And so by the time I read that book, by the time I was done with that book, that week, I started the project called Project 30 Before 30.
That week?
That week. I didn't wait.
Before you are 30?
Yeah. Project 30 Before 30, which meant that we're going to send 30 kids to school before I'm 30. I'm going to send 30 kids to school before I'm 30 years of age.
But I think you even exceeded that.
No, we've exceeded 30 with the help of a lot
before you are 30?
Yeah. But that's something that if I had not read that book at that time,
you would have been waiting till you are comfortable.
Yes.
And that could be 40, that could be 38, that could be 35, that could even be 60.
Given that I even lived that long, because longevity is not promised.
And that's part of the point in that book too.
Longevity is not promised, however desirable it is. Everyone, we want to live long, but factors happen. You could just sleep and don't wake up. And those who died yesterday are not better than them. So exactly what's the quality of my life that should preserve it longer than, the person who will die tomorrow has a dream for next tomorrow.
But yesterday when the book was released on Amazon, all of a sudden I started having a concern for Africans, that Africans might find this book intimidating or frightening even. And that they might look at it as a taboo that they are afraid to touch.
I think even from the book you proved that it was a global issue to talk about death.
Yes.
People
avoid.
There's a whole lot of trouble already. Why should we be talking about death? Talk about something more joyous. Talk about something that can give us hope. But it's in the melancholy of understanding the purpose of death that life is truly understood. And I think it is really the same reason why those who live their life without the fear of death are those who are truly living in the freedom of life. So until one really understands what is the purpose of death and be able to ask himself what happens after him. And I think this is what you understood, and you are saying that you want to live your life so that you are living your life for the next 300 years is because of this question that you've been able to ask yourself. So 300 years to come, what will people be saying about Sunday Adelaja? 300 years to come, what will people be saying about BAMISAYE Victor? And there was a poem you quoted.
Those poems, they are powerful.
Yeah, by Pushkin.
Yes, Pushkin.
Pushkin, Alexander Pushkin, where he said, I have built my monument. And it's taller than the poles of Alexandria.
Yes.
And these are not man-made monuments and built. They were deeds. And even though it did not live long, but till next tomorrow, is still being referred to.
The greatest name, the most memorable name.
In the whole.
That monument is standing tall.
Of Russia. I mean, in the Slavic region.
Yes.
To even now know that even himself was a black man.
Yes.
Who should by every standard not have been accorded any honor.
Any significance.
But his work, because he lived for purpose.
He lived erecting monument every day.
Yes.
So how many people are living and knowingly erecting their monument on daily basis.
So while I was doing that, while I was translating that, I took the pains to do extra research about people, about the concept. I wanted to know how many people understood it before you. Then I now saw that these people who lived in the medieval times, people like Avicenna,
Yes,
it been a lot of these guys who
the great,
created
the great
stuff.
philosophers,
Yes,
and yes.
that we will not consider Christians today. They knew this. And the ones who did poetry among them, you will see it clearly written in their poetry. The ones who did philosophy among them, you will see it clearly written. So you now see the substance.
It's an existential.
Existentialism, yeah. You see the substance of what makes them great. The understanding of what death is and what life is and the purpose of life and how life should be lived and why, more importantly, why life must be lived. So that when death comes, no matter when it comes, you embrace it gallantly. How else could it be said that Pushkin died such a foolish death, fighting for love?
And that is what you just said. That life is not something you could assume that you always have, even though you desire it.
Yes.
But there's no. It's not for.
It's not guaranteed.
Yeah, it's not guaranteed.
It's not guaranteed. So to be able to live every day to the fullest, every day to the fullest.
That book will really help in the new HMT, the next HMT, because the next HMT, I'm going to be talking about how to plan your life so that you live a purposeful life on a daily basis for the next 25 years. Wow. So that's going to be the next HMT. This book will be the main book in that HMT.
I'm telling you, DSA, before you even start, I mean, these are things you mention often, right? But to teach it to the depth, to say, do this with your time, do this with your time, working on that book, for me.
Even without doing the thing, without this HMT, that book got you there.
You know, DSA, I've translated a lot of books, and with the thing with your books
I've
is that
never heard you talk about any other book like this one.
Yeah, the thing with your books is that everyone is
revolutionary.
But the kind of impact
this one made,
that made on me.
Shaka.
And this, I'm not embellishing it.
Who will attend your funeral?
Who will attend your funeral? I'm not embellishing it. I'm not sugarcoating it. All you just need to do is read chapter 1.
One chapter? No, but you talked about chapter 2. About Alfred Nobel.
Chapter 1. Just start with chapter 1.
Maybe just introduction.
Just introduction.
Their life will be turned upside down.
DSA, I am very sure. I am very certain. Even if not for copyright issues. I think that time I asked now that can I share some?
Can I begin to share? Yeah, even before it's published, you are saying this book. Do we need to wait till it's published? Can I begin to share?
And that time the answer was that if it's shared, it gives problem when you want to publish on Amazon because they will be and that was the only reason why it didn't. Why we're not allowed to share it.
Yes.
But I mean, every blessed page
in that
was loaded. Because for me, you know, I like punchlines.
Yes.
Because I love thought processes. I don't like the verbosity of words.
Okay.
I love thought processes put into one. So when I swallow it, I'm the one who is not able to explain it in my own words of how I want. So I love proverbs. I love things like that. So for me, every line that was explaining your thought was just like that punchline. So I could soak it in and then produce my own thought process from it.
Who will attend
your funeral?
It was a shock for the Russian-speaking world also when I released the book.
Yeah, you showed that also through statistics.
Yes.
Especially for many of them coming through the orthodoxy.
Yes, yeah.
Nobody wants to hear about death. There are so many things to talk about.
But even if you look at this title, a thoughtful person will know that, this thing is going to force me to think of. So because if I'm going to be thinking, what would I be remembered for, and who will come to my funeral, then I have to live right now. I have to live in such a way that...
Yes, sir.
So this is actually about life. It's not about death.
No, it's about life, because one of the questions that was really being asked is that why will people come?
Yes.
Why will they come? What will they say?
What has influenced?
What has
and
influenced
impacted them?
And you share the story of one clergyman who even government said don't come out.
Yes.
We place a ban.
But the whole country was
They
paralyzed.
didn't listen to even government.
Crowd.
There was no space to pass, even after ban order had been placed.
Yes.
Who will come
That
to
is
your
such a life.
And
To
to
be good to
think
live such a life.
of recent, Mandela
Yeah, was such a man.
and the common trait is that these people understood the concept of death and had already defeated death while yet alive.
Why do I say alive? Yeah. You know, the same thing with Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, that speech he gave, to have been to the mountaintop.
Yeah, and even what he said is that anybody that is not ready to die for what he believes doesn't really deserve to live. So you must be ready to die for what you are living for. That is when you are ready to die for the thing, that is when your life is really deserving of living.
So maybe I can say it this way: when death is not appreciated, life is overvalued.
Overvalued, and which means you become a slave to life. Because whatever is overvalued, you now serve it instead of it serving you. So instead of you to rule in life and manage life and dominate over life, you will now become a slave of it. You are in captivity. You'll be running a tasketa, just like you are a slave in the church. So when you overvalue life, that's why Jesus said, until you are ready to lose life, anything you are not ready to lose, you become a slave to it. So he said, when you are ready to lose your life, that is when you gain it. But when you don't want to lose it, you become a slave to it.
Yes. And the other pointer that this book gives, so when I talk to people about, people try to ask questions about motivation, inspiration, and all of those. How do I get the energy to move on? And for me, in answering all of those, I've come to the question, it comes down to only one question: why? And so this book, like I said, asks the question of why live, and everything boils down to service. But until you appreciate death, you may never see the reason to serve.
Yeah.
Even though service is the reason for life.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a whole lot. So probably
We'll have to do a program
yeah.
on that book.
I don't even
Right
mind.
now, actually, we put out the book. We put the book out for pre-order so that our people could get it for free. No, for cheap. It's like $2 right now. So for as cheap as possible, it's going to be $20 when it's released. But right now, anybody can get it for $2. So, especially on Kindle.
No. Then it not happened. I don't know if it was some weeks or probably during. I'm not sure.
While you were still
While
working
we
on
were
the
working on it, a friend died.
Yeah, you told me about that. And he was a very promising guy.
Yeah, very promising.
In South Africa.
In South Africa.
I remember. South Africa, yeah.
And this guy was doing his PhD, and I'm always thinking about, okay, what does the next 10, 20 years hold for Nigeria? What's my part in it? And I could see this guy's part. I mean, it's one of those
Very
guys.
promising.
Yes, that I was thinking in the next 2-3 years, you can easily ask him to start building some systems. And the guy died.
Shock.
I was so shocked because he was very active.
Talks about the brevity of life and the emptiness of life, the vanity of life.
Then the question is, can I deny that he has dreams?
He does. So that's why he's doing PhD. So I could die just like he died.
Yeah.
At any time.
At any time.
I might not wake up.
And that's not something
That's
I
why
should
you
dread.
shouldn't wait ever to build your life. And you shouldn't wait to build your monument. like Alexander Pushkin, you've got to be building your monument on each and every day, each and every day, and every minute and hour of the day. And that's why you started immediately that project you wanted to do sometime in future. The future might never come.
It's not promised.
It's not promised, yeah. It's not guaranteed.
It is not. And so I just had to start. And since then, I think of it, I start working on it. Now, in working on it, I may see the limitations of why it may not work out now, but I have started.
At least I'm in the process.
The process has begun. And often I've seen that all it takes, actually, is to start. The world is looking for starters.
Yeah, somebody was telling me, asking me a similar question about what would be my impact. And my answer is that, I know I'm going to change Africa and Nigeria for sure. But so where would Nigeria be when before I leave this world? One thing I know is that it doesn't even matter where I get to before I'm called home. Even if I never get to Nigeria again, even if God would not allow me to go to Nigeria, make a drink.
Yes, sir.
Even if I never get to go to Nigeria, I believe that it is not how much I'm able to accomplish that matters, but what I'm able to trigger. So sometimes the most important thing is not accomplishment, but the process that you are able to trigger. So it's just like a locomotive, like a train. When you put a train on the rail, on the tracks, and you are able to just trigger it to start, that locomotive, that train will keep on going, until it reaches its final destination. So that's what I'm saying, that sometimes what really matters is to trigger, what you trigger with your life. I might, like Jesus, it just triggered Christianity. He's not here to see how much it has gone to be 2 billion people and over, but he triggered it with 12 people. So sometimes it is what you trigger rather than what you accomplish that really matters. Not that cleaning the bush is a really better solution.
Yeah. And you also talked about purpose here.
Yeah.
Calling. You also highlighted calling.
We want to still talk about politics. We want to talk about
letters.
Letters. So if we don't get into the letters, and then some people want to talk about my website being hacked or things.
Okay. Yeah. Someone's asking. I think we should start from that before we go to the letter. Someone actually wrote me today and said it seems DSA's Facebook has been hacked. Although the person showed the video, which we later discovered probably was an advertisement. Okay. But probably you've been sporadically.
And which video was that?
I don't know. I think it was some European or Caucasian someone who was talking there. Okay. So, but probably they noticed you had more activity on Facebook too. So probably they noticed you have more activity on the Facebook too, and probably they were wondering, has your Facebook been hacked?
Has my Facebook been hacked? No, it's not. What about now? Has my Facebook been hacked? Nope, I don't think so. They have been. We are in political season right now, so I will tell you what. I gave permission for some political articles and to be shared on our page because of what I see that I must counteract. When I see ignorance and foolishness, not just being propagated, but being sold out to innocent people who don't know better, and those innocent, gullible people are buying into it, you know my position. I can never stand by and keep quiet. And the incidents that made me to give permission for those political articles to be shared is the rumor that some people were propagating in some section of Nigerian society that our president is not really our president, and that our president is a clone or an imposter by the name of Jubril from whatever, Sudan. And, and some people are actually taking it serious. So when I see those kind of foolishness and people who are supposed to be having brain are actually believing it, I think it's my own responsibility as an individual to go and, enlighten and open the eyes of people. Now, a lot of well-meaning people have written me over the week, and they have said, Pastor, please don't meddle in Nigerian politics because it is dirty, you don't understand, they are all the same. I said, so your own suggestion to me is that I should just keep quiet. But you are advising the wrong person. Because if I have kept quiet, you wouldn't have known me today. I wouldn't have even known that you existed, and you would not know that I existed. I will not keep quiet because that is not the position for someone who is supposed to be a leader. A leader doesn't keep quiet. Then some people are writing me and saying, oh, but, people in Nigeria are suffering. Oh, they are suffering, and this suffering was caused by Buhari. Well, you can only tell that story to people who are less informed, people who are not informed. But you cannot tell that story to me, because I know that the suffering of today is not caused by Buhari, but it was caused by the last 16 years that have been there in authority, in power. So they said, but people don't want Buhari again. I said, yeah, people don't want Buhari again. That is why they are people. They are masses. But I am a leader. And as a leader, I don't follow what the people want. I'm not a politician. It is the politicians that measure the temperature and say, let's gauge. Is it popular? Is that opinion popular or not? So they talk what people want to hear. I don't talk what people want to hear. I tell people what they need to hear. I don't follow the opinion that people hold that is popular. Oh, Christians don't want him, or Southerners don't want him, or Nigerians don't want him. Yes, Nigerians don't want him because of the pain they are going through right now. Nigerians don't want him because of the economy that is bad right now. But a leader must see beyond his nose. A leader must see beyond today. A leader must see beyond pain. And a leader must be able to cry, but not allow the tears of his crying to blind his eyes. So I know that if we will allow the tears of our pain to blind our eyes, then we'll go ahead and be articulating. And that word articulating is one of the reasons that I said, no, I would rather go all out to campaign for Buhari instead of tolerating in my lifetime for Atiku to come back. And because the best people that I would have recommended to come on board and be the leaders of Nigerian politics would have been the new generation of people like Showore, like Mogalo, like Obi Ezekwesili. But because I know they will not win. They don't stand a chance of winning. There are only two people who can win. Either it's Atiku or Buhari. But Atiku, I would not close my eyes and know that Nigeria is going to go down the trail with Atiku coming in and then keep quiet just because people want it. No, that's why I'm a leader. I tell people what is right. And I tell them and I open their eyes to know why their choice is wrong and what is the right choice. So if it comes down to Atiku and Buhari, never will I tolerate or accept the position that Atiku will be a better candidate. And I think it is just the pain of today and the calamities and of herdsmen and all tragedies that are happening in our land that has led to this situation. But if you look at it from another side, you will see that Buhari, even though I'm not satisfied with his record so far, but I can see deeper and clearer that he is much more better than what we've had in the last 16 years. Because in the last 16 years, can you imagine one man in 3 years alone is engaged in more road reconstruction and finishing more projects than 16 years of another party? How can it's just like saying, for example, for 16 years, a party or a government constructed, just for example, let's say they constructed 10 roads. But in these 3 years, this one is doing 30 roads. And you want me to say, we should leave him and go to the other one that, my foolishness doesn't get to that, it will not get to that level. And then we had a government that had budget, money, income that is 3 times more than the income that this government has. These people had budget and income in 1 year coming 3 times more than this government. And this government is having budget, the national budget that is 2 times almost bigger than the people that had 3 times. So where was the money? Then the capital expenses or expenditure in other place was just, now it's about 3 times the time. So where were the money going that time? And so I see the tendency that this guy meant well. Even despite all the failures, he is still done and doing better than all the previous government. Now, if you now say, but the life is much more harder right now. Yes, because he's not distributing money in the office. Yes, because they are not distributing money to pastors. Yes, because money is not just flowing anywhere, through corruption. But infrastructures are being built. Roads are being built. Things that will be sustainable, that will give you sustainable development, rather than instant gratification. And the thing that our people want is instant. We can see cash right now. So I cannot begin to see that and say, no, let me just keep quiet. It is what people want. No. No, I have a different chemistry. Some people were saying, oh, but you are making all the people who had followed you, who are following you because of your good position regarding the religious cabals, you are disappointing them, and they are going to be, leaving you now. I said, am I a politician? Am I campaigning for people to follow me? I don't care who follows me. When I was doing religious campaign, a lot of people left me too. And it's not about that. It's about truth. The only friend that I have is the truth. And the truth right now is that Atiku is a death sentence for Nigeria. Atiku is Atiku, we don't die. And the OB is obituary. Then they will obituary Nigeria if that happens. So we will not allow that to happen. And I'm going to put everything into it. Anybody that wants to, leave me at this point, good for you. Congratulations. Only don't come to me later on. Please. Just leave now forever. Because when I get to Nigeria, you will all be scrambling to find me. Because you will see what will going to happen. I've already told, if you listen to most of my messages, you will see that I've already said it. Do you people that are claiming that you follow me today or you love me today, you will soon hate me tomorrow. Because I will begin to say tomorrow what you don't like and what you are not comfortable with. So if you are following me now because I'm saying what you like, that's why you are following me now because of truth, then one time, sooner or later, you will turn to be my arch enemy. That is just it. But if you are a lover of truth, then my position would not surprise you at all. But if you are more dedicated to the prejudices of the Nigerian Christians, and the Nigerian Christians, the fathers, the so-called fathers and the GOs, they are full of prejudices. And they have sold that prejudice to our people. And even people right now who are against them, they don't even know that they are still living under their prejudices. And one of the prejudices is that Buhari is going to Islamize Nigeria. Now that, that one has fallen on his face because, the other party also got another northerner, a Muslim, another Muslim. So who is going to Islamize? Now the two of them will Islamize then. So now that argument is falling, and it's in the place of that argument, they found another one. It is Jubril. Because first of all, they are going to Islamize Nigeria. It didn't fly. Now, then it became certificate fraud. I didn't finish primary school or secondary school. That one didn't fly. Now it is Jubril. Just people who are desperate. And I have first-hand information about the reason why the so-called fathers and GOs are propagating those things, because of their belly and because of the interest, the personal interest they have in the purse of the federal government of Nigeria. They want the kind of government that was there during Jonathan to come back, because they were being given choice lands and real estate properties in Abuja, all over Nigeria. They were being given, distributing money. Money was just flowing anywhere to them. And they want that time of impunity to come back. It is too late. And why the youth are getting ready, And I think that the youth will soon take over the nation, the affairs of the nation. But since they are not ready, if the fight is between two old men, because they were saying Buhari was too old. Well, the other one is too old too. So no argument. So the only argument left now is Jubril. So I will not sit down here and be seeing my people being fooled to the extent that my own sister, who is an intellectual person, a pastor, a spiritual person, who hears God, was writing to me and said that all the churches in Nigeria, in the southern part of Nigeria, most of them that she knows, she's a pastor, so she has association of pastors, even though she is fighting against, she's in our movement, against the religious cabals. But even she that is fighting against religious cabals, she got deceived into the fact that, Buhari is not the right person, because so all of them, they have a chain of prayers going on in Nigeria right now that either Buhari will die or that he will lose, he will not come to power. She got her church also included in the chain of pastors praying until I opened her eyes, And she had all kind of articles, false articles that they have sent to her.
Yeah,
so,
WhatsApp.
yeah, where WhatsApp? It is WhatsApp that they are ruling with their deception, demonizing and, the innocent person. And they don't believe that, Buhari is innocent, but in what they are accusing him of, I don't think he is to be. They say, oh, because you are not in Nigeria, calm down. Well, I said, even you in Nigeria, you think you know Nigeria? You think even the Nigerian government knows Nigeria? I will tell you that the American government knows more about Nigeria than the Nigerian government itself knows. Talk less of you.
They know even the future.
You think you know anything about Nigeria? We overvalue ourselves sometimes when you don't even have electricity to go to the internet.
Yes, Jesse, I think that was quite a monologue. And you've addressed quite a lot of things, but I still want us to take them one by one. So probably we'll just go a little bit political today.
That's your passion now.
Yeah, because like you said, it's interesting because it not only abuses the mind of Nigerians, but it's an insult to the collective intelligence of the nation. Because this, what you're talking about now, it started as a petty rumor from Nnamdi Kanu. The embers were found by people like Fani Kayode. And then suddenly a man goes to Ota to meet with the PDP structure. And then he's reading from a satire. Everyone knows what a satire is. When you see a satire is written mainly to show the ridiculousness of a point. And so a man goes and then quotes a portion from that satire, not the introduction, not even the conclusion, but just a part where the writer of the satire was quoting what was said.
Just like somebody wrote a satire about the building that Deeper Life built, yes, and call it a hospital.
Yes.
But news outlets, believed that it was a hospital. And everybody was saying, Deeper Life don't build a hospital. Yes. But it was a satire. So the same thing, I was thinking that the bishop might not have known that it was satire.
For he is the, he should have known it's a satire. Because if a mass communication 100 level student in his university cannot identify that he will fail.
He will fail.
And he's the chancellor. I think he knows.
And he's the chancellor of a whole university.
I think he knows. And he quotes that. Not only does he know that it's a satire, do I think he knows it's a satire? I don't think he has ever had any shadow of doubt to believe the authenticity of Buhari.
You think he knows that is Buhari?
I think he knows that is Buhari. The person he regards as father in the Lord, Adeboye, visited the president
and was
after he recuperated a few days before he came to Nigeria.
Even after he came to Nigeria, he still visited.
He still visited. The vice president is a member of their body called the PFN or a pastor or CN, yeah. So, but because certain interests that he has, he is able to misinform and lift, and because he was saying from the newspaper, he was saying it like it was not an article, like it was a news report.
Yeah.
Because when you are reading from newspaper, people can write articles, rejoinders, opinions, op-ed, and these op-eds are not necessarily things that happen. They are just opinion that are included in the editorials. But the way he was presenting it, like from the newspaper. So the intent for me was to misinform. And then he goes ahead to say, because the government has not refuted, this implies. But is it every beer parlor conversation that the government has to respond to?
But the reason why I thought that the bishop might not know that it was a satire is that how could he go on the pulpit, on his own pulpit that he used 30 years or so to build, to spoil his own reputation like that, to just make himself a laughing stock? How could he? This is not in the closed meeting, though. You know, when Bishop Pastor Adeboye wanted to talk about me, even though he talked about me in the camp, but when he mentioned my name, he didn't mention my name in the public something, though. Mm-hmm. He went and just gathered pastors alone. So he did it in a closed environment. So he would have done the same thing, this man. But for him to have done it on his pulpit, with the camera on, everything. Does he want to bury his own reputation? Or he doesn't care for his own reputation? Or he doesn't believe that people can think to even analyze, or they will get to know the truth? Or what is happening in his mind? If that's why I thought maybe he didn't know.
No, for me, sir, I think there's a precedence to that. The precedence, you remember after the unfortunate incidences that had happened where people were being killed by what the media called Fulani herdsmen. Mm-hmm. A narrative again which has been dropped now, and I'm going to talk about that much later. If you remember, he went ahead and rained curses. In that same note, sir, killings, unfortunate, very unfortunate that these things happen in Zamfara state. When it happens in Zamfara state, most of the victims are Fulani people. You know what they call...
Not Christians.
Not Christians. You know what they call the people carrying out the killings? They call them bandits.
Not Christian, not Muslim.
Not Muslim. No, they just call them for the criminal that they are. And that time we were warning that don't capture a whole people into criminality, even if you suspect a few of them. But he did that then and went away with it, and you saw the way everybody was chanting. So he was like the hero of that. So given such precedence, and we've heard of what is called the Dubai strategy. The Dubai strategy was allegedly the PDP strategy of how to discredit this president and his government in a way to give them bad press and let people vote for the PDP. And so now he sees another brewing folk tale that he knows that if he speaks about, he can lend credence to. Because many people will automatically take whatever he says.
What about his reputation?
Sir, when he doesn't care much about that. You have said something, you said wherever truth is not the authority, and the authority becomes the truth. And he knows that principle, and that's what he has used. So he has the authority now. Whatever he says becomes the truth. And that's why he not only said that, but he raised a prayer point.
Making people
on the basis of
falsehood.
Of that falsehood. Praying against Sudanese government. On the basis of that falsehood. So I think he has antecedents.
He was actually instigating the people that we have been enslaved by another African country.
So that's bad conclusion.
And that they want to take 50% of Nigerian revenue. Yes. All kind of insinuations that are dangerous. This book can lead to
inciting.
Inciting. It could lead to the breaking on the civil war, actually.
And on a normal day, in very normal country, he should have been arrested, but in Nigeria, they arrest him now. They will say it is religious.
Yes.
You see? So, look at, I was talking about the Fulani case now, so let me talk about it even more broadly. During those times, it was very hard to be a Fulani man. The moment you're a Fulani man, the picture was that you're a criminal. It did not matter what your education is, what your status was. In fact, the president was a victim of being a Fulani man because he was said to be aiding the criminality because he is a Fulani man. But now, immediately, the prospects showed that a Fulani man was most likely going to emerge as the PDP presidential candidate. We are not hearing that narrative.
Those arguments.
Nobody is talking about. In fact,
Fulani
what they are talking about now, the PDP spokesman, and it's on video, he is even saying that Atiku is more Fulani than Buhari.
So no more Fulani S-men.
No more Fulani S-men narrative. They are no longer evil. Now it's about to prove the point. So that's why I defer to your point that anyone who wants to leave you on the basis of what you are talking about in politics should feel free to leave.
I bless them with all the blessings of the Lord.
It has to be on the basis of what you stand for as the truth.
Yep.
Not about what
anybody thinks
yes.
or feels.
Because there are people who agree with you religiously, will not agree with you politically, and it's they end the right to their views.
Yep.
But the truth must be said at all times. And the truth we said then, which is still valid now, do not color a people, a tribe. Do not put them in the envelope of criminality because of a few bad eggs. And that now, they are reaping from it. And that's why they are trying to be the best Fulani. They also talked about age. And for me, when we talk about age, of course, I love that the youth become whatever they can become. But power will never be handed over. Nobody gives power for free.
You have to fight for it.
You have to fight for it. You have to belong to the organization, to the process. You have to participate in it. And there's no political structure that cannot be hijacked. Neither is there a political structure that is perfect. So you talk about APC and they say it's the same thing as PDP. And now I'm saying no, they are not the same. But even if they were, the question is, who are you presenting?
Yeah, who is at the head?
Who is at the head of it? Because Nigeria has a law that gives freedom of association, and you cannot bar people like that and say, no, you cannot join my association. But the question is, are you a member, or are you the one we are giving the keys to?
Yeah.
To say, go and be.
I don't know if you saw what Donald Duke said.
Yes, sir.
He said, yeah, you saw it.
No, yeah, please.
Yeah, he said that even no matter how well meant Atiku is, even if it is, but he said, I was a member of PDP, and he said, I'm a son of PDP. I grew up there. The PDP made me governor. I know everything in and out. He said, there is nobody that will, no matter how well-meaning you are, that structure will produce a good fruit.
Yes.
The video is on my timeline.
It is a question. Said, while I was being called Mrs. Due Process, the biggest problem I encountered
was the vice president.
Came from the vice president.
Atiku.
I mean, there's a lot of ominous signs written around this stuff. And for me, like you too, sir, and the truth is we never discussed about it before I took my position.
Yep. Just the truth. Truth takes the position.
And I said, if Showore wins by any stretch of imagination, I'm very glad. But I saw early enough, especially I was in Nigeria and I was able to interview people, that this is a two-horse race. And realistically, you just have to choose of these two. And people may argue, and of course you are one of those who argue that the government has underperformed. But I am of the opinion that the government has performed very well.
Very well. Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a very unpopular opinion. It is a very, very unpopular opinion. But all you need to do to come to that conclusion is to look at statistics on a comparative basis.
Okay.
You don't just look at statistics from 2014 to 2018, no. You look at statistics from 1999 and look at the trends. How much money was being made or was made between 1999 to 2007? How much was made between 2007 to 2015? What is budget implementation? How come JAMB is remitting this amount now and they've never remitted 1/1000 of it in all of the time that they've been existing.
Or the customs.
Or the customs.
Or 80, or is it 80 years
Yes,
or 80 something? Combine money that they cannot steal again.
Yes,
80,
TSA.
TSA.
And
but somebody will say, but where is all the money? We are not feeling it. We are not feeling the money. We are not feeling. But they don't know that the money is not being distributed like before. It's not being stolen, but it's going to build infrastructure that will be able to lay the foundation for the development of the nation.
Yes, after I read your book, Nigeria and the Leadership Question, there was one book I picked up that summer and I read. Even till today, I'm still trying to read it again and again and again because the book is very powerful. And that's even more reason why the next free time I have, The Death of Nation, is a book I want to pick. This book is called Why Nations Fail by Darren Akmemogu.
I read it, yeah.
Now, from there, reading that book and studying other structural materials, I realized that liquidity is not the measure of economic buoyancy. Liquidity, many times, is a measure of inflation and a show of pseudo-economy, especially if the economy is based on an extractive model. What do I mean? When corruption is taking place and they are taking money from the bank where it's meant to be stored and they are sharing it the way it used to be, we have an illusion of a good economy because there is liquidity, there is money everywhere. But when hard times come, like it came in 2015, because we do not have anything in stock,
the bubble burst.
Very soon that liquidity will mop up. Then the real situation of things will show.
And that is the reason for the economic hardship we're having today.
Exactly.
Which they are saying it is Buhari that is causing.
Exactly. So when I now know that, sir, and I now look at how much that in 2000, between 2009 and 2014, as it were, Nigeria sold, even if we were a mono economy as of that time, just one product, but we were selling at an average of $120 per barrel.
To 140.
Yeah, but let's just put everything at an average then. Where is the excess money? We can't find. Excess crude account, we can't find. External revenue was decreasing.
Even the money that Obasanjo left, $65 billion,
still, it went down.
Depleted, they depleted it to 25. They spent all the one that was there. Even then, the one they have made now, we can't find it.
We can't find it.
And the one that was there, they spent.
What did you do with it?
We can't find it. And you are now blaming these ones that inherited the thing.
Funny enough, sir, these are figures that were known upon May 2015. More figures were still to be discovered in the place of debts. A lot of debts that were owed. Like the people were bringing fuel in, they were owing them 800 billion naira.
And then the salaries were...
A lot of contractors were being owed. As of that time in 2014, they were borrowing money, not for critical projects, but to pay salary. So the question is, where is this money? Someone like Obasanjo is saying, we spent 16 billion on electricity. And we are saying, okay, where is this electricity? And this government came and spent $2 billion on electricity, and $400 million on electricity. And we can see how much they're adding to the national grid. And we are saying, if this government, if you had given them 16 billion, with what they've done with this 400 million, they would have been able to do more. So when you look at that, sir, and you look at the statistics and you look at everything, you see that even with how hampered they are, they've performed well. But the difference is that people want to feel. And until people feel, they don't think anything is going well. But this is how it is. I'm a medical doctor. And so I know that, for instance, if
after an operation,
pyrexia,
even
let's not even go to operation. Let's even go to ordinary fever. It is not on the point of taking the right medicine that your fever goes. The work starts. There's a mechanism of action. And I have seen that, yes, the people may not be feeling like it's well already, but the projection shows me that it's well. For 15 consecutive months, inflation was going down. For the first time in so many years, Nigeria rose on the prosperity index. Of course, you know Nigeria had gone down on the poverty index rate, but with certain factors that are being considered in governance, prosperity index Nigeria rose. So it shows me that we are on the right path. And for me, that right path of that certain right path, no matter how slow, is better than the certain path of going back to where we're coming from.
Plunging the nation into debt and...
Because if where we're coming from was good, we would never have left in the first place. So for me, it's we either go to people like Moghalu, like you said, Ezekwesili, Sowore. I believe in those guys. But in the case of the reality now that we have to
choose between the two.
We can't go back to Atiku. I don't think that is wise. I think we now will be killing our nation. And if an elite body stands against a government so much, that should give you the clear indication that the government may be socialist in nature.
That is for the people.
Yeah, that is for the people.
And the elite is not happy.
DSA, let me give you one information. This week, last week, they were condemning the SIP program, social investment program of the government. The PDP was criticizing it.
Money something.
Trader money, a lot of money that were going to common people. A lot of people say it was mega and just little. But you know what? The World Bank has given the government $500 million.
To distribute?
To distribute.
Wow.
In fact, when they were returning Abacha loot, one of the conditions was that they have to spend it on this SIP.
To alleviate poverty.
To alleviate, yeah. To ameliorate poverty.
Yes.
But no. Some people are saying, why is the government spending on that? They should use it to build road. But those people will never say anything if a bank fails and the government is rescuing such a bank, not knowing that it is the directors of the bank that are being rescued, not necessarily the bank. Because when a bank fails, the directors still get their billions in whatever it is that they call their own investment. So the Nigerians have been so they've been so oppressed that they would rather that the government spend more money on the rich than spend money on the poor. But we cannot go through that direction.
They just want to have cash in their hands.
Yes.
And they don't know that either we have to have patience, a little bit more patience. And I think that Buhari will do better in his second term than the first. Because the first, just like Obasanjo too, when he was there the first term, things were so difficult in his first term. But in his second term, it just exploded. The economy started to grow very rigorously. I think the same thing might happen here.
I think it will, because a lot of groundwork has been done. For the first time, we are seeing what they call the second Niger Bridge. It used to be on paper and they were campaigning with it with paper. But now, shamelessly, they are saying, it's only 4 poles we can see. But before 4 poles can climb up,
maybe that is 20 stories downstairs
into a river before that pole can. So it shows you that a lot of work has been done. The TSA has mobbed up a lot of. Sir, it was Buhari that made me realize, and I don't mean this as an insult, but it's what the truth is. It is Buhari that made me realize that many of my colleagues, that their parents were corrupt.
Wow.
Yes.
That's why they had money all those days.
Yes. Because now, when the money is not spent, you have to return it to the government coffers.
Okay.
But then they will just take it. And so that's why a civil servant whose salary does not go beyond 300,000 is sending
was living big.
His child to school in UK where he's paying 3 million rather. So where are they getting those monies?
Wow.
Civil
that's why they are all complaining now.
Yeah. So when you mop out those money, those guys cannot maintain the standard of living that they used to have. And so, of course, you see poverty, you see complaints everywhere. And another point, people are so focused on Buhari now that they are forgetting 2 important things. who their governor will be and who the parliamentarians will be.
Yeah, senators and all that.
What do you think is the impact of parliament in Nigerian democracy?
If they are receiving even their salaries alone, why can't they reject their salaries and begin to distribute? That would have been the, that's why sometimes democracy is not the best option for a country like ours, because if Buhari had been the military leader that he was, he would have ordered all the senators to reject, or he would have just cancelled their salaries and distribute to the poor. But he's trying to be a Democrat, so he cannot do that.
Yeah. Do you think we need a bicameral legislature?
With a country as big as ours, we might, because we're about 200 million right now. To just have one, we might be too small. But what I'm more concerned about is not the representation, is the salary, the allocation. Even though the salary is not actually salary for them, it's supposed to be allocation for their districts or wherever they're coming from, for their constituencies. But, we know that the thing
it doesn't get there.
It doesn't get there, yeah.
And again, would you prefer a full-time or a part-time legislature?
Part-time might be better, because part-time, then maybe we don't need to pay them salaries. Because I personally don't believe that you need to pay people who are in House of Assembly, who are parliamentarians, who are senators any money. They are already rich. There is no way you win an election in Nigeria if you are not rich. So these people are already rich, and since they are already rich, why should you be paying them again?
Some may argue that they borrowed so much for election, they want to pay it back.
There is your problem. Find a way of starting a business, but why from the purse of the government?
What from the feelers I have, that a lot of banks, upon seeing your prospect, will even approach you to give you loan.
Yeah, but it means that you have already credibility. You have already some capital, some resources to monetize that. So why should you pay Nigerian people who are in government? They are all rich people. They are oligarchs. So why should they still be living on the, apart from most of them are already successful, most of them are educated, most of them have their businesses, most of them are already big. That's why they became, who they became in the society before they were even nominated to run. So now that they are the richest Nigerians, those people who are there. Now, why are they now the ones still being paid some incredible and ridiculous salaries? So I will argue for the fact that we shouldn't even pay anybody. If you go and serve your nation, you say you love the country, I mean, go serve. Nobody is being paid anything. Go and serve.
If that is done, we will not find people serving now.
If I'm going to serve, I'm not going to receive any salary. Just like I'm doing this live broadcast and I don't receive anything for it, I will not receive any salary. That is what I will advocate for.
But nowadays, the parliament is becoming retirement home for many of these governors.
That is because they are paying them salaries. Because people come, somebody finishes being a governor and he goes to become a senator because of the salary, because of the money. It's corruption center. But if they will not pay them salary there, he will find a job. He will find a job, but they want free money.
Wow. So DSA, let's talk about youth inclusion.
Yes.
How do you think, or when do you picture that this order can be changed, where youth can have effective power? I'll give you an example. For instance, when the APC was inaugurating their committee, then after a long list of people, they now put youth and women, very few representation. So because of that, the PDP said during their own time, they are going to make it 40% youth. But by the time the list came out, there was even no youth. No, not one at all in their committee. So how do you think we can get youth to be really involved, and not just to be involved in the politics, but to be involved in real issues of governance?
There is no way it's going to be done with this kind of government, with the kind of political system that we are running. You cannot legislate with the way it is going right now, because if you look at the primaries and look at the way primaries are and the way they are run and the battle and the fight that is going on for the primaries, It's like people are fighting for political positions as if their life depends on it. So now will you now imagine some people say, okay, we would leave 10 positions for you, and those people who are fighting already, even when there was no use, ready to kill themselves, we now vote that, okay, just we will not contest, let the youth do it. No, it will not. It's not going to happen because of the money. Until we remove the money factor, nothing is going to work.
And considering that too, if they put their children, they will say they are youths too.
Yes, but that is even. But they will not even put their children, even their own children. They will not put, because they would rather go there and then be sending money for their children to go and be spending. And then, or unless they are sick or they cannot function anymore, then they can put their children.
A nation driven by money, where does such a nation go?
A nation driven by money is not as bad. Politics shouldn't be driven by money, but nations should be driven by money. And the difference is that if a nation is driven by money, that leads to economic competition. And economic competition will lead to productivity. And that, will be good for the economy in general. It will generate income and, vibrant economy. But when politics is driven by money, that is what breeds corruption.
Do you think there should be a limit to how much people should be able to spend for campaign? Do you think it should be really scrutinized?
They already have a limit even right now, but nobody can control it. It's not possible. Because you will not know, they are trying to do it, but even in America, they cannot control it. No country can control it because, nobody knows what you are doing with, unless we are going to run a cashless society. But even in the cashless society, it's still difficult.
I think we are going to take some calls now.
Okay. We have calls?
Okay. So probably if you want to call in and if you want to contribute on what we've said so far, please be our guest. We would like to hear what you have to say. Just go to Madik on Messenger and then write that you want to call, and we're going to give you a call. All right, DSA. So, when do you think? Do you ever get to picture the likes of Shore, Mogalu, and governments?
Yep. I think that when I get to Nigeria, we are going to make one of them president. I'm putting on myself a lot of responsibilities, and there are a lot of, somebody should make a compilation of all my promises. Because when I get to Nigeria, believe me, Victor, anybody that is pure, that will believe in, I know exactly how to do it to make anybody become president or governor. And money will not be an issue. But just now, I can only talk, but when I'm on ground, it will happen. Anybody will believe in, nothing will stop them from being president or governor. But I'm not sure it's going to be Mogalu or Showore, but we will see. Anybody that it is has to buy in to our teachings, and until they listen to 200 messages and give exams and do everything and go through mentorship, we are not going to stand by them, because we must know their value systems.
All right, so yes, one of the things that is plaguing Nigeria right now is fake news.
Yes.
And one of it is what made itself to the mainstream, even the pulpit.
Even my own Facebook also gets fake news, because some of the fake news are so disguised that you might not even know it's fake news or it's advert or something. But that's why I was defending Bishop Oyedepo, that he might not know. But it's another thing for you to have known that it's fake news, then it's being, malicious.
So how can we control fake news?
I don't think, even America is struggling with it. Everybody is struggling with fake news. Nobody can control it right now. We'll see what will happen, but you just have to try your best. But some fake news are so well packaged that it's difficult for you to know.
Yeah, but at least maybe there are ways you can mitigate or ameliorate the intensity of its spread. How do you think? What do you think we could be on the lookout for to spot some fake news?
You know, in different countries and different political climates, it will be different. Fake news will be different. So, for example, in America, it might be fake news about Trump and Russia, or Trump and some political something. But in Nigeria, it might be fake news about Buhari, or it might be fake news about even Atiku. But you might, you might never tell.
You know, one of the trends is that someone will just sit down, compose some stuff, and just put Vladimir Putin.
Yes.
Or put
but how will you
Obama.
know? Even the one that is credited to Putin that is said about Africans, I know he didn't say. That is not Putin.
Now, how did you know?
Because I've listened to Putin too many times.
So, beyond just listening to him,
Yes.
there were some things that would
There are
have
some
given
logics.
discon-
For example, there are a lot of things in that statement that is not diplomatic.
Okay.
So he will never do that.
Yes.
Then Putin is a person that is always very careful with his utterances.
Yes.
And when he's talking, he doesn't talk against countries that could later on support him, like developing countries,
Yes.
African countries. He will not talk against those ones. He will rather talk against countries that is in competition with. So that is another one. Then another one is that he will not talk directly against Africans. You know, politicians like that will not talk like that. That all Africa is a very grand only, and when an African, no. That is more like a literary person will talk. Like more like literature, like writing, like composition.
Yeah.
But he is a politician. He doesn't talk that way. Yeah. Now, somebody you could say could talk like that would be Trump, because he is not a politician and he is very erratic. But it's not Putin. Putin is very calculative. So I know that one was not his own.
Even if Trump will even say something like that, it will be alleged. Because right now he's president, and many of the statements he's going to make that will be public are going to be on official, in official capacity. So for Trump to even say something like that, they will say he was saying that to somebody inside. But it won't be that long. Like when they said shit hole, it's alleged. But when people just write a whole lot of stuff like an article, they'll just put the name. And again, I think people should look at the source. When you see the news, look at the source. People wake up every day and create blogs, create websites.
But sometimes they make those sources look like the real ones. For example, they could write BBC. And BBC, everybody knows BBC, but their own BBC, normal BBC will be red background. But their own BBC could be blue.
Yes.
So that way nobody can sue them. But if people don't know the difference, is it red or blue? They just say it's BBC now. Or for example, somebody will say Al Jazeera. But Al Jazeera, it could be just a little bit logo different. But this one looked exactly like, and not so many people have the time to.
So that means we just have to be careful in this era. And there was something I wrote, I said, hate makes one susceptible to fake news and bigotry, no matter how intelligent they used to be.
Yeah.
No, not they are.
They used to be.
Because intelligence, as of that present moment, makes you try to fact check the things that you see before there's a difference between I see this news and probably I'm considering it to be true, and then I go ahead to put it officially on an official page or speak about it on the pulpit. So hate will just make one act so with such impulsiveness. So you just can't wait to you will never even pay attention to the details of what is there. So and I think that is one of the things that affected the bishop. It was just, I think, I could be wrong, but I think because of the hate or dislike he has for the president, he just couldn't wait to share it.
Yeah, I agree with that too.
He just couldn't wait to share it, But for you guys to, and I'm begging you, this is an era of fake news. You do not want to be an instrument of spreading fake news. You do not want to be. Nations go to war because of fake news. So in India, 2 guys were burned to death because of fake news on, on WhatsApp. They were burned to death. After they had died, that's when they realized it was fake news. It cost a lot. In fact, BBC, or I think maybe it was BBC or Yahoo, did an article 2 weeks ago, and they said, like, share, and kill. Because they are studying the trend of fake news in Nigeria. And if that is the one plea that I can make on this platform today, I beg you, please, no matter, you don't have to like Buhari or his politics. That's why you are open to a lot of other alternatives. But please, do not be an instrument to fake news.
Somebody will say that it is fake news that I'm spreading by bringing evangelist Bisola Johnson.
No. You are, there's a face to that story.
Yeah. It's not just a rumor.
It's not just a rumor.
And
she can be questioned and then she can answer.
Yeah, and then there are facts, names, facts, dates, historical moments.
Yes. So it will be
just for people to know the difference.
No, yeah.
Because fake news doesn't have face.
Yeah, they are usually faceless.
Faceless, yeah.
And many times the imagination of people that have no
conscience.
Yeah, no conscience. But we know better than that, so that's why I'm.
What will you say about this book for people who want to be married?
Wow, it's here. Who will attend your funeral? I'm going to say, please do your best. Do your best to pre-order it now. Now is the best time. Now is the best time.
And especially when it's just for $2
yes.
instead of $20.
Yes.
So,
although there's also one thing I would like to discuss with DSA much later, especially because of the richness of your books. I think we'll need to explore the possibility of audiobooks. So I think maybe after the show or much later we'll discuss that. Audiobooks, I mean the audio version of your books. They will be so much needed. But right now, this book, Who Will Attend Your Funeral, is something that they just have to get now. And this not because of the commercial part of the book, no. It's because of the content that I have encountered, the content and what it has done to me. And so tomorrow, next tomorrow, even tonight, when I think about what if I die tomorrow, then I think about, okay, at least up until today, I've done what is required of me.
And that's thanks to this book.
And the next thing is that, okay, what are my plans for tomorrow? But tomorrow did not come. That's why I can't do it. But at least for today, I've done.
Living to the best of my life.
I've done what I have to do. It was then, sir, that I started listening to audio every time I'm going out, from house to school and then back.
Maximizing.
To maximize time. That was how I started that as a real time of, because usually when I want to read before or get information, I just probably is when I'm just scrolling through things or I sit and say I have to. But now I knew how to maximize time. I knew the importance of converting, even though you didn't mention converting per se, but I got it then. And so every other thing you mentioned about conversion was just to elaborate and to make me see in a deeper sense and also the terminological part. But this book helped me to fine-tune purpose, helped me to start what I wanted to do later at that time, because it showed me that tomorrow is not guaranteed. The only thing that is guaranteed is what I have done. Only what you have done is guaranteed because you have done it. And that's what people will remember and say, oh, this is what BAMISAYE Victor did, this is what BAMISAYE Victor said, this is what he stood for, and this is why we have to come to his funeral. And that's why many people are immortalized and a lot of other people are quickly forgotten. It was from this book. Sorry, sir. I'm sorry.
Who Will Attend Your Funeral is the name of the book, and it's on Amazon right now if you want to pre-order it.
Yes, it was on this book that you you asked the question of how many people worked. I think it was in a construction company or even on a bridge, what are their names? People don't know. And it just continues like that. It continues like that.
Millions.
Yeah, millions of, just go. People don't know. People don't remember. But those who lived for an idea, those who found why they should be alive, those who found this is why I'm here, even those who did not know why they had to be here, but because they asked themselves the same questions that this book is raising and discovered something different, changed their lives. And one of such was Alfred Nobel.
Yeah.
He was once called the merchant of death. But today, he's almost synonymous to peace.
Humanity.
And humanity. And every other thing you can know about human advancement.
Yep.
So for me, I think getting this book, Who Will Attend Your Funeral, is the best gift you can give yourself in a time like this. It will help you probably reshape your priorities for the coming year.
Yeah, that book changed the lives of a lot of people here in Ukraine because I wrote it in Russian, and then Victor translated it to English, and that's why he's so passionate about this book. And go get it, go read it. It might be one of the most important books you have ever read in your life.
And look forward to the book review. Look forward to the book review, but it will be so
let's
good.
arrange book review with Victor.
It will be so good if we are arranging that, we should give people the space to have read it a bit too,
so that they
can relate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that they can relate. At least one or two people can be able to call in and understand what we're really talking about. But I can go on and on and on and on and on about
that book. Well, our time is over.
Yeah. Yes.
We didn't get to letters today.
Yeah. So we didn't get to letters today, but next week we'll try. Hopefully they won't be bringing Kabiru from Somalia. Maybe they won't be bringing Kabiru from Somalia. We'll be able to read our letter gingerly. But I think it was a good one. Thank you so much. And I think okay, I don't think we are going to have any calls. So I would like you to round up and say something.
Yep. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. And like I said, we are going to make a few changes to what we are doing, especially to our presence on YouTube very soon. Some things are going to change, but we are going to announce them to you. I have a few books that I've written at this season, but that are supposed to come out. But the first one is this one, Who Will Attend Your Funeral? Have you ever thought about that? The thought of death will give you purpose of life. That is what this book is all about. That thought of death will lead you to discovering purpose of your life. So it's like now, like I said, $2 something right now. When it's released, it will be 20. So go and pre-order. It's going to be there for like 5 days or a week. And well, that will be all for now. In the next 20 minutes, I will be coming back to teach on the news series that we are doing right now, high-yielding lifestyle versus low-yielding lifestyle. High-yielding lifestyle or low-yielding lifestyle. You are living one of the two, and find out how you could improve it and change that. Peace.
All right. If death is not appreciated, then life is overvalued. If death is not appreciated, then life is overvalued. So I want you to think of this. Get yourself a copy of that book. Who Will Attend My Funeral? Who will come to my funeral? And I hope to see you next week. Till then, I remain yours and yours truly, BAMISAYE Victor. See you, and God bless.